Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this week's ClaritySoft webinar. Today is Tuesday, March 8th, 2022, and I'm Susan Arnold, Implementation Specialist here at ClaritySoft. Our topic for today is leveraging Excel reports. This is the first of two sessions that we will be doing this month. This week, we will be learning the basics of creating an Excel report using a single data source. And then the second session, we will learn how to incorporate multiple data sources into an Excel report. This is the one thing that Excel reports have over the other report types in ClaritySoft is you can pull data from multiple modules and then using formulas and pivot charts and tables and merge it all together. So Excel reports, once you learn the basics of them and how to do them, really you're only limited by your own Excel skills. If you're a real whiz at creating formulas and things in Excel, then you can take off with this and create some pretty amazing types of reports. So hopefully today will help you get to that point. So what we'll be doing, first of all, I'll give you a quick overview of Excel reports and how they work. And then we're going to build two sample reports, one that will pull data from the leads module and compare the lead quality to the lead source. This is something you may want to do if you are paying for different types of advertising and you want to see, well, how many new leads did we get that were good leads versus bad leads according to the type of lead source. So we will build that. And then we're going to go to the opportunities module and build a report that will, first of all, filter for all of the opportunities, excuse me, that have a close date of this 3 months, meaning March, April, May, and can group by the sales rep, by the sales stage. We're also going to learn how to add a formula for weighted amount so that you can learn how to put a calculation into an Excel report. And then we will be following the process that you see here. So what you do is you build your foundation template, then you download the template, you modify it, you then save that template and upload it, and then you're able to run the report. And where people get confused is the downloading, the modification, and the uploading. That's where it gets confusing. So hopefully today we'll straighten that out. Our knowledge base isn't 100% clear on how to do all that. So that's why this webinar will help people. All right, so we will go to our ClaritySoft, and I'm in the leads module. And what I usually suggest anytime you're going to run or create a report, you want to go to the module first and create the same filter that you want to create in your report just to test it, to see that you're getting the data that you want to get through that filter. And so what I've done here, what I want to find all of the leads that we have been created year to date. And so what this report will do as it moves forward each month, it will continue to add the new leads into the statistics in the report. So that's the filter that I want to have. So I've already created one here and saved it called new leads year to date. But let's go take a quick look at that in case you're not real familiar with how to save a view or create a view. So I can go here and I can click on the edit button to open it. And it's pretty straightforward. I've gone to the time filter and said creation date is year to date. So it will continue moving, okay, throughout the whole year until December 31st. And I didn't create anything else, okay? You could say that the standard filter, you could say that the status is not equal to converted. That would work too, probably. So you're only picking up new and working leads. None of mine fit that, so I didn't add it, but you could certainly do that to clear those out. Even though you still may want to know what the statistics are, because a converted lead obviously was a good one. So that's my filter, okay? And I've saved it. So now I'm just going to click on it to run it. And you'll notice that my creation date is yesterday for all of these. That's because I imported them all yesterday. But I have my lead source and I have my quality here. So what I'd want to do once I have my filters, I'd want to check my records to make sure that the data is filled in for these two fields, because I'm going to use these in the report. And if they're not filled in, then I'm going to. So, and if you've got a longer list than the 53 here, you can click in a column heading and sort. And when you sort, so you're going in alphabetical A to Z, all the blank ones will show up at the top of the list, and then you can make sure they get filled in, that your sales team fills them in. So that's how you can do that if you wish. Okay. All right. So let's go to Excel reports. And in here, there are different folders. Some of these are ones I have created. You may create your own folders here. So you just click on new folder, and then you can type a name and you can create as many folders as you like. If at some point in time you've got a folder that you don't want anymore, you can remove the reports from the folder, and then you are able to delete a folder, which you couldn't do before. So you can do that now. So you decide if you need a folder, create it. Otherwise, click on New Excel Report. And the first thing you have to do is put it into a folder. And then you put in your name. So this is going to be lead source, this lead quality. And I'm just going to call this new, so in case I've got another name. And then you come down and click save. And this is similar to the reports module. You don't type a name yet, but you pick what module. So now I'm picking my source type. And my source sheet is one of the modules. The modules will include any custom modules you might have in your database. So you're able to pull the data from a custom module in that you can then integrate with someone else. The difference between opportunities and opportunity details and quotes and quotation details and sales. The opportunity details, all the details ones will include product information. The line item information under the products and services tab, you'll have access to that data. This is just the standard record and the data in a standard opportunity record. Okay, just so in case you want to know that. We're going to leads, and then you are asked to type in the name for the source sheet. And this is just the data sheet that will be in the Excel report. Okay, typically you can name it the same as the module. All right, then I click save. And now it's asking me to first of all say, well, what data do you want to pull in to this source sheet? This is pretty simple. I'm going to pull in the company name. I'm going to pull in the lead source. And I'm going to pull in the quality, which, why can I not see that? There it is. Those are the only three that I really need. Okay. Now, when you're doing this, you can pull in a multiple pull in as many data fields as you want, because once you get the data into your source sheet and pull it from the database, then you can create all kinds of different pivot charts, pivot tables based upon different combinations of the data. You might want to do a comparison of lead source versus the industry type or the market segment. You might want to do a comparison, of what territory is better than another territory, whatever. So there's a lot. If the more fields you pull in, the more you can do within that same template as you build it. But we're going to keep it simple. Then we go to sort columns. And here it doesn't really matter, but I'm going to sort it by the lead source. And then the filter criteria is what I just showed you in the leads module. So I can say here, I want the creation date to be year to date. And notice you have time-based filters here and standard filters if you wanted to set some other type of criteria. All right, so I've got my source sheet defined. I save it. And that returns me back to my list of source sheets. If I wanted to bring in data from another module, then I can come up here and click on new source, choose the module, walk through the same steps and add it. So this is where you can add multiple sources. And like I said, in the next session, we will do that. I'm done here. I click the back button. Then I go to my report right here. And this is where it starts to get a little confusing. What you want to do is you need to download the template so that you can then work on the template to build it. And so you click on the row action button, click download template, then you open it. And my Zoom thing is in the way here. You need to click enable editing and enable content. Notice up here in the name, it does say template. Okay, and it's a .xlsm macro sheet. And then you're sitting here looking at a totally blank sheet. And you're saying, well, now where is my data? It's down here. Whenever a new Excel report is created, it has two sheets in it. It has a sheet 1, which is your blank sheet where you will build things, and it has the data sheet where it has the data. And then you click here and you say, well, there's no data here. Now what do I do? And this is where it gets confusing in the directions. So what you're going to do, this is your little trick. You're going to leave this sit here, all right? And I'm going to minimize it. You're going to go back to your report, and this time you're going to actually click on the report name to run it. And again, we get, I'm moving Zoom out of the way here. So we get the same thing, sheet 1, but now when we go to the leads sheet, we actually see a list, okay? And notice we don't see that some text data stuff that we saw in the other one. So what this does now, this is the result of the report when we run it. But the problem is, if we modified this, we are only modifying this one instance of the report. So it's not going to do a thing for us. The next time we run the report, we'd have to rebuild it again, because up here, it does not say template, okay? But what we're going to do to help ourselves is we are going to take the data that came out, copy it, go to our template, and we're going to paste it beneath the sum text data. Okay, so this is going to become our sample data that will allow us to build the template and see that all the things we're doing actually work. And then we will save it. Once we've got that working, we will delete the sample data to blank out all of that and save it as our template. So you always need to make sure you've got the word template. Now, Jay in tech support suggested that you go back to this report that you just ran and close it, because sometimes it gets confused and you don't save it. Okay, so now we're working with our template. And what we want to do is create a pivot chart and a pivot table to show us the comparison of the quality versus the lead source. So we're going to go to our sheet 1 and insert pivot chart and pivot table. And the first thing we have to do is tell it what range where our data is. So we click here and we select the headings and start dragging down. And most of the time we go to the bottom here and say, that's my range of data. But this report is supposed to go out through the year, okay? And you may bring in 10,000 leads in a year. You may bring in 500. I don't know. But what you need to do is figure out how many rows you're going to need so that the next time you run the report, that new data does not go beyond your range of cells. Okay, now I'm just dragging. You can go over in this little box over on the side there and type it, but I'm just dragging because I'm just going to go down a few hundred rows here. Okay, but you can come over here and type the number that you want. Okay, but that's what you have to figure out. Look at your statistics from last year and decide, well, how many leads do you tend to bring in? And that's how far out you want to go. Now you can always come in and edit this too, but make a good guess at the beginning. You click OK, and now we have our pivot chart fields that we can start bringing in. So what we're doing here is we are going to add find my notes here. We want to take the quality and add it to the series. And we want the lead sources to be in the categories. And then we're also going to put the quality in the value so that we're getting a count of the lead quality per lead source. Okay. And this looks a little wonky here, but hang in there. All right, so we've got our pivot chart and our pivot table going. And one of the things you want to notice is we've got blank in here. So to get rid of those, because we're going to have blanks in there, hopefully all year. If we run out of blanks, then we have gone beyond our range. So you just come here and you uncheck blank on this, and you go here and uncheck blank. So it will not display the blanks. That gets rid of that. Now also notice you do have some text data here. Don't worry about that. That is going to go away. We need that. That's part of the programming of the sheet. So don't mess with that. And you can see it in the chart here as well. Okay. The next thing we want to do is to right click on one of the values over here, and instead of a number, we want to convert it to a percentage. What percentage of each thing is, good, average, and bad? So we're going to right click and then go to show values as a percent of parent column total. That converts it to a percentage. Then we want to get rid of all these double decimal places because it looks messy. And I'm just going to come up here, and I do this the old way. So we get that down to there. All right. Then we're going to come over here to the chart, and we can right click on it, and we want to change the chart type. When we get in here, we're going to go to a bar chart, and we're going to go to a 100% stacked bar. So you can see how it's laying the different quality levels for each lead source type, which makes it easier to see and interpret. So we're going to click OK there. And then we can make this bigger so we can see it. When you click on the chart, then you can come to the right here. And right now we don't see any percentages in it, so we can't really tell what the values are. We'd have to look over here. Click on the plus and add data labels. All right. If you want to add a chart title, then you can add a chart title. If any of you've worked with Excel charts, then you are probably pretty familiar with this. So I can't type. Who's worked with me knows that. We'll put year to date. Okay. I'll say created year to date. I like to put kind of what my filter is in the title so you know what you're looking at. Okay. And then there are other options here we probably don't need for this type of chart. Here you've got an appearance where you can change the appearance, like the black text is a little bit difficult to read. So we can choose this one, which changes it to white. You've got other options down here. If you want to go something fancy like that, you can go to that. So Excel gives you a lot of options, which is nice. So we'll pick this one for now. All right. So I have now created that. And I can lay this here. I can lay this down here. I can make it bigger. Whatever I want to do, I can do with this chart now. Okay. If I want to, if I don't really care if I see this, I can drag it over the top of this and just have the table behind it and just see the chart. All right. The other thing I usually like to do is go to the view menu, and turn off the grid lines just to give a nice white background so everything sort of blends in behind. So you can format your chart. There's other things you could do. If you want to see your data labels, you can change things over here. Okay. And if you wanted to put in count of quality or something like that. Whoops, I can't delete that. I tried to do that before, so I could do. Things like that. So, and then if I wanted to make this more color coordinated, I can go here. Fill the screen matches pretty closely to the other one. And just basically do some formatting, get it the way I want. Once I'm done, then my next step is to save this template. But before I save it, I want to get rid of this sample data that's back here. I want to take everything except the sum text data and get the template back to where it was when I first downloaded it. So I delete all that. Then when I go back to my sheet 1, my charts and table recalculate and go back to just sum text data. That's where I want it to be. Now I go and do a save as. And what I suggest is you create a folder somewhere on your computer or network where you're going to put all your Excel reports. I put AA in front of the folder so it'd always be at the top of the list to make it easy to find. And then you can see here's my template name right here. I choose it and save it. Oh, I must have. Wait a minute. Where is it? Thought it was new. Did I do something stupid? Hold on, guys. Quality new. Okay. Save as. All right, what am I doing here? Save as, browse. Oh, there it is, just save. I didn't need to click on it. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, just replace it. Okay. All right, so then I've saved this and now I close it. Which brings me back to here. And now the next step is to upload it. So I click on the row action button, upload the template. I go find it. Where in the world did I put that? I did something dumb. All right, well, we'll just do this one. I may have screwed this up, folks. All right. So now when I run this, there it is. Enable editing, enable content. There's my chart. And here is my data. So if I were to go into my ClaritySoft and import another 10 leads, and I run this again, I would get another 10 leads down at the bottom here, and this would just continue to build. And like I said, the only thing when you're building that source sheet, you need to make sure the range that you set up for the pivot table, or when you're building the pivot table, is big enough to accommodate all the new records that you're going to put in. Okay, but that's how you can build that. And you just run your report when you're ready to run it. And then once it's run up here, it's in macro format, and you can do a save as and save the file. You're not overwriting the template because it doesn't say template. This is just an Excel report now that you've just run. Okay, so that's there. And I won't save it. So that's that. Now, all the reports, just so everybody knows, if you have certain reports that you are building that you want to run regularly and you want to have them emailed to different people, you can do that in any of the reports in ClaritySoft. You go to the row action button and you say schedule. And then you can schedule a report to run daily, weekly, monthly, or yearly. And you choose repeat every 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So even though you pick a week, you could have it run every 3 weeks or 5 weeks or whatever makes sense. Okay. And then you say what day you want it to run. In ClaritySoft, a week in ClaritySoft is Sunday through Saturday. So a lot of activity reports that people like to do, if you set them for the time filter where to run them for last week and then run them on Monday, then it will pick up the complete previous week for an activity report. So just kind of a heads up on that. And then you choose what date you want to start, when you want it to end. And then these are always going to be in Excel format, so you don't need to worry about it. And then you can put down here email addresses for the people that you want it to send to. And you just need to notice that they're separated with commas in here. So that's why they've got some samples to show you that. So that's how you can schedule it. Once you schedule it, all you need to do is make sure the data is correct in the database, or your sales team makes sure the data is correct and the reports run. Really nice. Even the yearly reports, if you design a yearly report, you can, make sure all the data is in there correctly. The thing runs at the end of the year and you're done. You don't have to design the report, do the report, you just get the data in there. So something to think about. And like I said, those of you that might be really super duper Excel users, I hope the gears are sort of spinning in your head and saying, oh, I think I know what I want to do with this. All right, so that's the lead source versus lead quality. Now we want to go to opportunities. And what I want to do in opportunities is I want to, let me go back to all opportunities here. You have different filters up here. Again, certain ones are already built in. Others you can create the filter, save it as a view, and then use it. So what I'm trying to do is look at opportunities that are due to close this 3 months, meaning the current month, the next month, and the next month. So that would be March, April, and May is what I decided. Okay. So I created the filter for this. Again, we can look at this real quick. So it is a time filter again. And I use the close date, this 3 months, and you have day, week, month, quarter, year. Okay. And you can increment the numbers here. The other thing that you may want to add, and I didn't do it in here because this is an older database and I found it had an issue, but we recently added a status field to ClaritySoft in the opportunities where it will indicate whether an opportunity is an active or inactive. So my recommendation would be to add the status field here as inactive, or as active, sorry. No, the status is not equal to inactive. Okay. So that makes it active, or the status is equal to active. I don't have it here for some weird reason. I don't know why. I think it's because this is an older database. But I would set that, then you won't get the ones that are won and lost in your future prediction. So that's what I would suggest. And I believe you will have a status field somewhere here in your form filter, but check that out because I would also use that along with the time filter. So that's what we have there. All right, so if I go to close date this 3 months, this is what I'm looking at. I have 101 opportunities, okay, that are due to close in March, April, and May. Okay, so, and I've got this sorted by the close date. So that's the filter. I know what I'm supposed to get. Go back to Excel reports, and we're going to add a new one. And we're going to save it in Susan webinar reports. And then we're going to do I'm just going to say close next or current 3 months. Okay, because we can do some different things with this. And then I'm going to save it. This time my source type is going to be from opportunities, and the source sheet name can be opportunities. And I'm back to choosing my columns. So what I want here are following columns. So I want the account name, and I can click on here and click the arrow to throw it over here, or I can hold the control key down, and while holding it down, I can go down and click on another field, and it highlights those. Okay. I'm not sure why I want to bring, well, I'll bring lead source over. Now, when you go to scroll with your mouse, let go of the control key, otherwise it changes the size of the screen. Okay. And I want the owner, and I want the probability. Did I pick up the amount? Nope. Okay, let me see what I got here. So close date. Oh, stage, that's the other one I would like. Come down here, do stage. And then once they're over here, then I can move them around. So it doesn't necessarily matter what order they're in, but sometimes it helps in the spreadsheet. So I want the stage above the probability, and I want the amount down here, and probably bring the close date here. Maybe put this at the top of the list. Okay, so I have that. Then I can choose to sort my columns whatever way I want. I eventually am going to do something, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to do this account first, close date second. And then the filter criteria is going to be the close date, this, and you can type this rather than use those little arrows, 3 months. Okay. Now, if I did next 3 months, that means it wouldn't start until April. It would do April, May, June, but this will include the current month, which you may want to see. What are you expecting for the current month? And then, like I said, that standard filter, if you find the status field, now I found the status field here, but I also found that it doesn't work right. So there's something that's not right with my database. So I'm not going to use it. All right. Another way I can do it, though, is if I don't want the ones that are won or lost, I can do stage contains, or not contain, sorry. Do stage doesn't contain one, and stage does not contain lost. I can do it this way. And stage does not contain no decision. So you'd have to know what your stage names are so you can type them correctly. And if you use contains or not contains, you're a little bit freer. Like I don't have to type the full word decision if I don't want. Okay, so that should work. All right, so I've done that. And I have my source sheet. So I'm going to click back, and go down here and download the template. Bring that up. We will have the same thing we had before, where nothing on sheet 1 and then just some text data in the on the opportunity source sheet. Leave that sit. Go back to here. Run the report. And we'll see if we got data. My filter worked. But if it didn't, you'll learn how to edit it. There we go. So our data did come through, and we shouldn't have anything in the stage that is one lost or no decision. Okay, so we should be clear here. And that's really what you want since you're predicting. All right, so there's our sample data. And we're going to come over here. Down. All right, go back to here and paste. So now we have our sample data, and then I'm going to go back to my other spreadsheet and close it because that's the report. I don't need it. Then I can start working with my data here. Now, one of the things I did want to show you, because I said one of the things you can do in an Excel report is add formulas. And a question that comes up very often with people is they would like to see a weighted amount, okay? Which is the probability times the amount to give them the weighted amount for where they are in the sales stage. And previously, we couldn't do this in ClaritySoft at all because we did not have calculated type fields. Now we do have calculated type fields, but if you're at the accelerator level or the professional level, you don't have them. So this may solve your problem. But I'm going to add a calculation here. And you can call this anything you want. And then I can type my formula. So this is equal to this times this divided by 100. And what's so cool, because the spreadsheet knows to do this, it just fills it in all the way down. So you can actually check to make sure that, yes, it did do it right. So half of 15,000 is 7,500. So you just type the formula once, it fills it all in and calculates it for all the data. That's why you have to leave that sum text data at the top, because this is kind of the ruler of all the data that comes into the report. If you wanted to add additional formulas over here to do other calculations with information you've pulled out, you know, maybe you've got some custom fields in the record that put in some values and you do some if-then statements, whatever you want to do, anything you can do in Excel, you can put in here. So just get those wheels spinning in your head. All right. So now let's say we want to create a pivot chart to show our opportunities value grouped by the sales rep. Okay, so again, we need the range. We're going to come back here, make sure you get all the way over. And then go down and again, go beyond the data that you have and down as far as you think you need to go for the time span. Now this is 3 months time span, so you know it's not a full year like we were doing. All right, so now what do we want here? We want the owner and we want the amount. So this is going to group give us the amounts per owner. Now notice we could pull in the weighted amount according to the sales stage. Okay. We can do another, we'll do another one of these real quick. So if I come down here, I'm going to change my number format. So I'm just looking at something that isn't quite as messy. The other thing I'm going to do over here is I'm going to turn off my blanks, so I don't see those. That takes those away. Then I can pay attention to my chart. And in the chart, then I can click on the options and turn off the legend. I don't need it for the bar chart. And then I can put my title in. Actually, I'd like data labels, and I'd like a data table underneath here. So this is current 3 months by rep. And you could put, what I would do is close date, or 3 months by rep. And then you again can come here to the display and you can scroll down. I mean, you can format this on your own, but Excel gives you some nice options. What do we got down here? That's not very exciting. Wasting time. We'll try this one. Okay, so I've got this. So I've got really all my data right here. I've got the names of my people. I have their data label at the top. Maybe that's a little too much. I could turn that off because I have the data table on. So I could turn these off, and then my data table's underneath. And I don't really need this in view. So like I did before, just drag it over the top and set it there. And then you can make this as large as you want to make it and easy to see. And then I go back again to view, turn off the grid lines. Now, maybe I also would like to have another one that is by the sales stage. So I can see the value by the sales stage. So I can go back to here and insert a pivot chart and a pivot table. And if you're smart enough and organized enough to write down the range, you could type it in. I just never pay attention when I'm in the webinars. I just do it again. So I want to make sure you catch all your columns and the headings. So you can begin to see why you may want to just throw all of your what does it say now? Doesn't like in only one row. Wait a minute, what did I do? I did something. All of your fields in, and then you can create all kinds of charts on the one worksheet and just have them all on one sheet. So in this case, I want to pull in the stage here and the amount here. So now I'm grouping this by the stage and the amount, and I can see. So I'd run through the formatting again. First of all, get rid of the blanks. And then change my numbers. I know a lot of you are saying, click the decimal thing. I'm too old. And then again, I can just format this to be, the title's already there, won't worry so much, but if I want to keep the same format, have the data table, I don't need a legend. And I've got that, and then I can come here and do the special formatting. If I want to do the same one, let's pick something different so we can see what it looks like. So I literally could build a whole bunch of different charts that show different data. So this would be, by the sales stage. I could do a weighted amount one by the sales stage. I could make it a pie chart. I could do whatever I want. So oh, stage. You could do one by state. So that's all there. So hopefully you can now see, all right, I've got all these things that I could just start putting. I could do it by lead source. I could, all the data that I brought over, I can do any kind of category. If I brought an industry in, if I brought in new business, versus old, add-on business, all these comparisons I could start to do in pivot charts, but you also could do a lot of calculations perhaps with some of the numerics that you might have in your opportunity record. So put in your formulas, and then you've got your formulas, and then you can pull the data through into charts or other sheets. You can add additional sheets in here. So if you wanted to add another sheet and then name it and put calculations and results on another sheet, you absolutely can do that. Okay. So just start thinking how you can use this to help you. All right. So my template is done. I want to save this. So again, I need to come back to here and do a deletion of everything that is a sample data. And you're done. Now I can save it. And we'll see if we can make sure we do it the right way this time. Wasn't paying attention last time. So this is in your downloads. So everything lands in your downloads. That's why you need to go save it somewhere else. So this is opportunities by rep, close current date. Okay, so this is the name of the file and I want to save it. Okay, I think I did it right that time. Now I come back and I upload the template. There it is. And open, it uploads it. And now it's able to be run. So when I run it, there it is. And it will just update itself each time you run it as you move from month to month. Because when we go from March to April, then it's going to be looking at April, May, and June, and so on and so forth. That's the beauty of the time filters, is that they just roll forward from month to month, week to week, whatever. And you don't have to change any dates in your report. You just set it up and then you go, and you can kind of forget about it. So hopefully that's given you some ideas. A couple of things. If you're doing a lot of designing and kind of uploading, downloading, and all of that, sometimes the reports might get a little confused and they start acting weird. At which point I suggest log out of ClaritySoft, close your Excel. Also, if you're using Chrome, go and clear your cache. Here, your browsing data. I cleared this before the webinar and it's up to 10.5 megabytes just from doing what I've been doing. So this is something we recommend anyway, if you're using Chrome, is to periodically clear your cache here. Don't clear any of your cookies or anything, just your cache, and then do it for all time. And then that way it clears all that stuff out that sometimes gets the whole process confused if you have that happen. But by following creating the source sheet, downloading the template so you see that some text data, then run the report, copy your sample data into the template so you can use it to build what you're trying to build. Otherwise, you're building in a vacuum. You have no idea what you're doing and whether your formulas are working. And then once you've got everything working, you delete the data and then save it as a template and upload the template and you're good to go. So I'm hoping this has helped clear up any confusion that some people might have had about Excel reports. They are pretty amazing what you can do. There are a number of reports already built into the system when you log in. Where the heck are they? Here, down here. These are default reports that are part of ClaritySoft. Now, they're not looking at any custom fields at all. They're only looking at certain things in the data, but we wanted to give them to you so that you could have a sense of how to build them. And this one especially just has a whole bunch of graphics, but you can see down here, I'm pretty sure this is blank because it's looking for accounts that were probably created this year, and I haven't made any, and I haven't done any sales, so that's why it's not looking so good. But you can see down here, there are actually 3 data sheets. So there's one from accounts. Yep, whatever the filter is here, it's not pulling anything in. And the same thing here, I'd have to go look at the source sheet and the filter, and then the same thing, we've got a few activities that got pulled in. So the reason the data is not coming in is because of the filter. But you can see that there are 4 pivot charts here pulling and being made from the 3 sets of data being pulled in, and they can all be on a front sheet. So sometimes, yeah, your manager wants to see things in a more pictorial format, and this is a way to do it because you're using the power of Excel to be able to do that for yourself. So explore those default reports that are here. I don't know what this overview report is. Let's see. And then, so here's another one, accounts by owner. So again, this must be looking for brand new. Oh, actually it's pulling some stuff in. Probably brand new ones, which I don't have any new ones. But over here, there's our leads by source. So that's what we were looking at before, really. And see, they forgot to turn off the blank that I taught you how to do. And then here's activities by type. Again, forgot to turn off the blank. But you can see we have accounts, contacts, activities, leads, opportunities, quotes, and sales. So we're pulling data from every module into the data, into the template. And then that data is being used in the report. Okay, enough. Hopefully you've gotten some ideas and you're ready to go back and dig into Excel reports. Thanks for coming. And if you need any help with this, Jay in tech support is kind of our in-house Excel person. So if you call and say, I'm stuck on an Excel report, he's probably the person to call and ask to speak to. And you can reach our tech support team at 888-838-7487, extension 2, or email them at support@claritysoft.com. And then if you have any ideas for new webinars or critiques on the webinars that will help make them better, then you can email us at info@claritysoft.com. With that, go and have a wonderful day and get in there and make some cool Excel reports, and then let us know what you do. Bye-bye.